Hi, this is Sarah Marks, one of the librarians here at UMass Lowell. First, let me welcome you to your time here at UMass Lowell. The library is here to support you as you do research for papers and assignments in your classes. I know you probably didn't have a lot of experience using your high school library, but at UMass Lowell, our resources are the key to your success, and we use your tuition money to get access to things you might not ever have access again. So, we want you to understand how research happens, where you can find things, and the services we have to provide you the assistance you need. Let's start by talking about Google and compare it to what can happen at the library. The big key that you have to understand is that Google searches the web versus our library, which searches databases. That database might be our collection of books, might be a collection of health articles, but they work very similar to the way Google works. If you can search Google, you'll easily be able to adapt those skills to a database. The key is the databases give you far more control than Google ever will. And they search very different collections. And that's what you always have to keep in mind. What collection do you need? Do you need sociology collection, history collection, biomedical research collection? Everything's going to take you to a different location. Hopefully, we can make this a little less intimidating by talking about where Google differs. So let's start with a very simple search. Diabetes. It's something that some of you might experience or know someone who's experiencing. And here's how Google does diabetes. It brings back web pages. When it brings back information, it's bringing back what we call reference sources, dictionaries, information pages, encyclopedias, websites for organizations that might treat or support people with diabetes. So here we have the American Diabetes Association, Medline Plus, which is a medical resource from the government, WebMD, another government National Institute of Health website, and Wikipedia. Let's take a moment to talk about Wikipedia. I'm the librarian who loves Wikipedia. If you meet me, you'll probably be meeting me at something related to Wikipedia. You can see I even have an account with information about page curations and contributions. I'm an editor, so when I talk about Wikipedia, I'm not just telling you not to use it. I'm telling you why. And the key is right here. Wikipedia is an encyclopedia. This is no longer an appropriate resource for your papers. It's a starting point, a way to get your head around an idea you might not understand yet, and then to find other resources from. So we don't want to see Wikipedia on your bibliography. We don't want you copying and pasting Wikipedia into your paper. We want you to use it appropriately. Here's some key things to pay attention to. This happens to be a very well-developed entry, but not every Wikipedia entry is this well-developed. Some have gaps in information, others can have misinformation, and yep, anybody can edit it. Even me, unless you see this little lock here. Then you can only edit it if you have permission. So see, I can edit it, but if I log out and go back, there's no option to edit now. The best part of a Wikipedia entry is at the very bottom, especially when it comes to you. All of these are resources you can use. If you see a DOI number, this means it is a research article that you can use in your papers. That's what your professors are going to be asking you for. We call them research, peer-reviewed, scholarly, academic, juried. It just depends on your field. But they are the creme de la creme of articles. They are what you want to find. And if you click on the DOI, or in this case also a PMID for the medical research, it might take you directly to that article. You can look at it, get information, and see about getting the full text if it's available to you. And if you're on campus, you will have access to everything we have paid to get access to. When you're off campus, you want to go through the library webpage. But let's get back to Google. Google's job is to think for you. It wants to make your life easier. So even though we're getting 292 billion results in almost just a second, these aren't research articles necessarily. And for you to identify those that are the research articles versus the new articles versus unrealistically done web pages, and then on top of it, fake news, well, it gets to be a lot of work. And that's where the library can help you. If you go to the UML library, which is uml.edu/library, you have search options. And again, think about the collection you're searching, not just that you're searching. The catalog search is our web page, but the article quick search searches all of our resources. So remember, we got 292 billion results in Google. Chances are you didn't get past that first page. And here we are in our database, we have 5,908,154. But this is where you get to take control. This is where you get to decide what you need access to. Do you only need things from, say, the last 10 years? Then you can get just those articles and books. Do you need them to be those peer-reviewed or academic journals? You can click to cut out anything that doesn't have peer review, which is when the fellow experts review an article and decide what needs to be edited before it's published. And this is not just copy editing and spelling and grammar. This is intense. Look at your research. Nope, you did that wrong. That doesn't make sense. That's an assumption. That's a bias. That kind of stuff is looked at. Here we can also look at language. We can limit to those things that are in the language we can actually work with, like English. Doesn't always shave off much, but you don't have to read another language. You can focus on my favorite, which are these subjects, what these articles are about. No matter where you search, Google, Yahoo, if you're still in Ask Jeeves for some reason, or our databases, when you type words into a box, it's typically just looking for those words to come back somewhere. And then it's ranking based on how often that word comes back. That's relevancy. But when you look at the subjects, what the articles are about, you can focus in on not just a mere mention of a word, but it being the important word. And now we're down to 83,000. And that's a huge jump down. But here's what happens next. We get more subjects, more based on that collection. And we can focus in on, let's say, the non-insulin dependent diabetes. And it keeps going. We'll get another round of subjects. Maybe metabolic regulation, which has to do with how our body metabolizes food and how fast it does. And again, now we're down to 713. And I can keep clicking on these subjects and get down to, in this case, let's talk about body weight. It can get me down to 45. And in this research process, sometimes the smaller number is the better number, because you're not going to read through 5 million results. You're not going to read through 83,000 results. You never get off the first page of Google. I never get off the first page of Google. So going and getting a list of results that are on the first page of something is a realistic list. And here we go. We have 26 to look at. What the library will tell you that Google won't tell you is give you the full text of these articles. It'll give you all the information. And if you hover over these little boxes here, you can see all that information, the summary, so that you can decide if this web page is worth your time. The full text link when it's available. There are other videos that explain full text and full text finder, and you'll be able to look at them on this guide. But know that they're there. But here's one thing that every freshman that I've ever met seems to freak out about, and it's citation styles. Remember what I said the best part of the Wikipedia article was? Were those citations, that list of their sources? Everybody does this. Don't freak out. We all have to do it, and you're going to learn how to do it in the next 4 years. Even if you never cite another article after you graduate, you'll know how to do it, and your professors will be happy that you can do it. The databases make it a little easier. Instead of you remembering where a period goes and does this get italicized, click on the article title, and on the right side, click Cite. This will give you an easy citation based on the style you're expected to use. How do you know what style you're expected to use? Check your syllabus. Ask your professor if it's not listed on the syllabus. Some will have very specific styles, APA, MLA, Chicago. Others will have the rule that you have to use the same one over and over. They don't care which one, but they want you to use the same one. So APA, typically used by the social sciences, including education and health. Chicago, frequently used by history. And then MLA is probably one you would have used in high school, and that's used by the humanities still. So you might need to change which style you're used to using, but learn which one. These often require that you proofread them and you correct them. But you want to check with your professor if you're unsure, or ask one of the librarians, or ask at the Writing Center. All of us are happy to help you do the very basic review, but you have to put the citation in yourself. And that's some of the ways that the library can help you over Google. It's all about appropriateness and the type of content you're finding. But if you focus on what the library offers and utilizing this, you're going to be successful in the 4 years you're here at UMass Lowell. Good luck!